Good morning. My name is Richard. I'm here with my team members. We are here to present on our project, Obaasima project. If you have.
So please, as you realize, when I stood up, I checked to see if I hadn't stayed with myself. That's the ordeal most women, ladies and girls go through during their menstrual period, even when they are using menstrual products. How much more a girl who doesn't have access to these products and of schoolboy age. This will hinder their education and also their career path. This is the reason why Obaasima embarked on this menstrual hygiene products and also train girls on how to sew reusable pads and other sustainable activities we are into. So my team member Richard will continue with the presentation of the project overview. Thank you.
So by way of outline, we start from the introduction down to project execution and then to our recommendation. Yes, so these are our team members. We have our project manager all the way down to the protocol officer. Yes, so as part of project execution, we actually proposed 3 projects. And then having costed the projects and looked at the acceptability of the project, we came to the realization that cost would actually be a problem. So we went for a project that had the least cost. Next slide. Yes, so we settled on menstrual hygiene education. I'm sure when my colleague was speaking, we all saw and understood the stigma attached to menstrual hygiene. Even for me, a male, having to hold the pad, I'm sure most of you will be wondering, boy, you're there now, you understand? The stigma attached to it. So we set out to do an awareness in the school. We also set out to train students on how to make the parts and even some agents. And then we also formed an Obaasima club. And then we distributed these parts to the students. As a strategy to execute our project, we identified the name for the project, we designed the logo down to the execution. And then for our project location, that is Obaasima in the new Accra. Thank you. Yes, so just as I mentioned, the project location is Obaasima. Obaasima is a coastal community in New Takrady in the western region of Ghana. Like many studies have shown, there are a lot of studies on menstrual hygiene and the fact that it causes a lot of our girls to stay out of school, and even the high cost of import tax on menstrual products has been a disincentive to the girls having this product to even use. And to confirm these statistics, we actually went into the community where we engaged some of the teachers. And it is surprising to know some girls even have to sleep with some people in the pastor community just to get some money to buy this class. And from this teacher, she confirmed the situation that it's been the biggest problem in the school, where students even stay off from school because they can't purchase this materials. So the Obaasima project will seek to train them and even give them enough knowledge about menstruation. Next slide. So for our objective, we seek to minimize menstrual poverty. Menstrual poverty basically has to do with the absence of menstrual products given to the girls. And this is what is making the achievement of some of the LGBTs a problem. So we sought to minimize the impact and also enhance access to knowledge on menstrual hygiene. And for some of the activities we undertook, just as I mentioned, there was training. We also trained about 100 people. We enrolled some onto the NHIS. We formed the club and then we donated the materials to the school. Next slide. Yes, so these are some of our stakeholders. We identified them and even analyzed their impact on our project. Thank you. So this is the stakeholder analysis we undertook on our stakeholders. these are the timelines we went through. Between June 2022 and July, we were virtually having meetings on identifying the project, budgeting for the proposed projects, and even identifying some possible sponsors that could help us to undertake these projects. And between October to November, that is when we actually selected the menstrual health education projects. We decided on the name and identified some projects. We also went on a sponsorship drive just to get people to help us with the project. And we engaged the school, as is shown in the picture above. In December, we were actually supposed to have our project, but for funds, you all bear with me that we started budgeting for our project in June. And by December, due to the economic situation, prices had changed, so it affected our contributions. So we had to postpone and for the project to be held in January. So between January 24th and 25th, that is where we had our project in the Obaasima community, that the making of Obaasima. At the end of this presentation, we'll show a video of what we actually did. And in February, for project monitoring, we had to go there to see what our club was doing. Even the parts we gave them, were they using them, what were some of the challenges. We actually had to go there to ensure that we get a proper feedback and then carry on from there. In March, during the celebration of International Women's Day, we had to embark on an advocacy drive where we spoke about embracing menstrual equity, so that everybody will come on board, not just the girl child, not just the female, but even the boys, to come on board and not see menstruation and age-related issues as a stigma. And then we donated a sewing machine to the club. Next slide. Yes, so these are some of the SDGs our interventions sought to achieve, as in grade 4, 5, and 6, just as I've listed here. Next slide. For project sustainability, I mentioned that we train our pupils in making of detergents. Instead of just buying and donating to them, we thought that if we train them on how to do it, it would go a long way to even help them, where they could make and even sell to some of the people in the vicinity. I mentioned that it was a challenge, and some girls in the communities were even sleeping with other men just to get money to buy them. So we believe if they've been trained on how to do it, they can produce it and even give out some for free and even sell some to raise some funds for the club that we formed. And then we registered over 100 pupils onto the NHIS. You will bear with me that access to health is key to menstrual hygiene. So we linked them to NHIS and we did the registration. We sought out to register 100 people, but at the end, we had over 100 people. And then for the Obaasima club that we formed, instead of just girls, we even included men in the Obaasima club. The idea is that menstruation and these issues, and banning, but how about the guys? Even in the awareness creation, instead of just meeting the girls, all the guys were also present just to listen to some of the things we had to say. Of course, Marie Stokes led education on that. Next slide. So we visit them every quarter to do the monitoring. And then we also link them to Ghana Health Service and Marie Stokes. Of course, they are the experts in health. We are just vessels who brought the project on board. So we linked up with Ghana Health Service and Marie Stokes to do the education. And through their actual projects, they have the chance to even mentor the girls on menstrual hygiene and other sexual related issues. And then in March, after our monitoring and the feedback where the girls thought the materials we even donated to them were not enough, we thought we should procure a sewing machine and some sewing kits for the club so that they could make them themselves and then they can have enough for the girls. And this is a picture of some of the donations items we donated. So we donated the pad, we donated the liquid soap, exercise books and other stuff. Next slide. So these are the NGOs that we partnered with. Next slide. I must say we also mobilized some funds. For Tintadi, we mobilized about 9,000. However, after the project, costing everything we did, if we were to fund the project ourselves, we would have spent close to 30,000. and we couldn't have raised that fund. Okay, if you look at the line items, Team Daddy raised just 5,800, and then photographer and other people added to it. So our total contribution was 8,900, and then sponsors took up about 70% of the total cost. As out of the 30,000, our sponsors catered for about 70%. Next slide. This is our media presence. Next slide. We utilize both online, print, and other places. Next slide. These are some of the achievements that I mentioned, which will be highlighted in the video. Next slide. And in the innovation, I mentioned that we included voice in our projects. That speaks to inclusiveness. On raising funds, IGF, we mobilized and fund ourselves. That's the silver collection. We did the advocacy, and then the empowerment. When we gave them the machine, we believe that they will make some money to even sustain the projects. Next slide. And these are some of the challenges, the difficulty in the project schedule, change of time, and even strike by GES affected our project timelines. And we also realized that FDA had concerns with the reusable parts. They believe in making them to have some hygienic consequences. So it also affected our presence in the media. Even when we were writing our stories, some of the partners drew our attention to it, so we made us tone down some of those areas, which we hope that going forward it will be addressed. And there were some financial difficulties in sponsoring the project. Yes, we actually had to go to YAS and the likes, but they never came on board, which affected us also. Next slide. Some of the recommendations. In our engagement with the kids, we realized that they were sexually active, and we needed to go back to address the issue of teenage pregnancy. And we will also sustain advocacy so that government could review the tax on the import of menstrual products. Next slide. Yes, please, if you can play the video for us, so we conclude on our presentation. The sound, please.
Obaasima Club invested in our training on the sourcing of reusable parts, sanitary pads in AE, go to the use marketing use your virtual training on the making of liquid soap, training on the making of antiseptic, NHIS registration, creation of girls club, donation of reusable parts, on new stationaries.
Young men and women settled from their various homes in the making of an Obaasima. They've identified a social menace which has affected the girl child over a long period. As a requirement for the SEaP Development Management, Team Tadi is here on a journey to make an Obaasima of some pupils at the Emmanuel Methodist and Nana Bedibonso basic schools.
Everything of Obaasima. Everything of Obaasima. Everything of Obaasima.
Now you've been wondering who an Obaasima is. So Obaasima in the Akan language translates as women in all their beauty, morals and kindness. An Obaasima ensures general cleanliness, physical hygiene, and even menstrual hygiene.